What is Creta? Essentially, Creta, what I think is very nice about this alpha opportunity, it's that it is something very its own beasts, right? Creta World, it's done by pioneers of video games player, and you're gonna just see right after in the video, just crazy artists, crazy entrepreneurs that have been in this games industry for 40 years. And they've built a lot of different games. They have a lot of IPs in it. They have essentially a Creta world that they want to some way compete with the Roblox on the Web3 version, right? How you come to create content, how then this content is shared, how these artifacts, how these skins, how these games are played, and how you get rewards based in Creta, or how you essentially be able to buy these different, different items with the Creta token. I think that it's definitely something on the long run, right? It's not a game that, they're just going to release and it's going to be over. They really want to build a lot of different games, their own Creta world as well. And these things take time. So I think this is something that has a really long-term type of aspect. What I love though, again, it's that we haven't seen so many great entrepreneurs that have done AAA games coming into this space. We saw some of them, but the pedigree that these guys have is quite rare. We're talking about the creators of Street Fighter and many other games. Anyways, not me to talk. Let's check this out. It's going to be on Friday. I hope you're going to be very excited.
Borgers, really excited to be with you guys today. And we invited a very special team, the Creta team. They're going to talk about a bit how the experience in the industry of gaming has evolved and how Creta is going to be one of the game changer. And we have a great surprise for you. Yes, Creta will be an alpha opportunity within the SwissBorg in a very short amount of time. As you guys know, my name is Cyrus Vizel, the proud founder and CEO of SwissBorg. Back to you, Alex.
Yes, I am over the moon today to have both Ray and Alexander, co-founders at Creta. This is a very personal project for me because I lived obviously 10 years of my life in Japan. So a quarter of my soul still lives in Japan. And I had the chance to meet both Ray and Alexander in person multiple times. I'd love to kick off with you, Ray. One thing that really stands out to me is, in Web3 gaming or gamify, a lot of people use the terminology AAA gaming studio, but really, you're one of the true veterans when I have to think of this space. I guess it's been over 30 years, right, that you're in gaming. And what's beautiful about this is when I think about the gaming legends, or really the countries that excelled gaming, the first country that comes to mind is Japan. And the second is the United States. And you've had the chance to work with both gaming giants in Japanese companies in the US. Can you bring us back to the early days, Ray?
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Ray from Creta. So, Alex, thank you for the introduction. I've started making games when I was 16, and my first commercial game was released in 1984. That's 40 years ago, almost, right? And that was on 8-bit PC, and I was just making it for fun, right? But it made a lot of money. So I made a few games for Japanese PC platform, 8-bit PCs. Then one of my games became a fairly good hit in Japan. Well, still, industry was very small. 100,000 units was a big number, right? So because of that, American company wanted to hire me. So I'm to move to the States. Mainly actually try to introduce Japanese games to American PC platforms. Back then, there are a lot of different PC platforms. So we had to actually physically port one game to another platform, right? So we brought a few Japanese games to the States. And then after that, I joined EA. That was Electronic Arts. That's a big game company. And that was 91, I think. Yeah. Anyway, so the big difference from a Japanese gaming market, or wasn't even a market. It was a small hobby market, right? So all the game developers were making games just for fun and making some money, right? But in the States, it was professional already, right? So they had big organization. They have a game development team. They have APIs, libraries, and multi-platform engines and everything. And I was so surprised. I learned a lot in those game companies. That was still late 80s, early 90s. But still, the main platform back then was PC. Then console came in. Then the company, EA, shifted more towards to console games. Right? So we started console games. And after that, EA and a Japanese company, Panasonic, they wanted to start their own platform. I don't know if you guys know, but there was a game platform called 3DO. That was a joint venture. It was a joint venture between EA and Panasonic, right? So to establish a 3DO organization, I came back to Japan. That was like 94. But unfortunately, 3DO wasn't that successful. So I moved back to EA Japan, and started producing more games. Then 2000, I got hired by Capcom. Mainly, I was in charge of bringing US games to Japan. So the things I was doing the opposite way, right? So Capcom was licensed GTA and a few other Sony games because Sony didn't want to publish their games in Japan somehow because that was too violent, I guess. So instead, Capcom published some of the Sony games in Japan. And also a few games like Maximo Chaos Legion, a few other games, Onimusha Game Boy version. Then joined Microsoft to launch Xbox 360 in Japan. Original first Xbox wasn't successful in Japan, so Microsoft was really eager to make an Xbox, second generation Xbox 360 successful. So they were ready to invest a huge money to make Japanese, like a Japan originated contents, right? So we started 6 projects at Microsoft, and hiring a very famous Japanese anime creator called Akira Toriyama, or the creator of Final Fantasy, those kind of people. Then we started a project, and one of them is called the Blue Dragon, and another that we worked on is called Lost Odyssey, among other 4 games. And back then, the budget was huge. These days, I mean, some games spend like $200 million. Back then, Lost Odyssey was about $50 million project. Blue Dragon was about $40 million project. That was huge back then. So we made those games, but still, Xbox didn't launch well in Japan, right? So then I started helping Shinji Mikami, who is the creator of Resident Evil, made a game called The Evil Within. So that's about it. Then after that, I started doing some business development for game middleware company for a while. Then started Creta 2 years ago.
And if I can stop you right there, Ray, because you just brought back some memories just by mentioning Akira Toriyama, you know, the creator of Dragon Ball and a real legend in the space. And I'd love to share one of your first games. Speaking of memory lane, like this was your first game, Ray, right here?
Yeah, this was the game that this was my first commercial game. I was still in high school. That was 83, 84. Right. And I made some money, and I spent all those money to buy new PC equipments.
A real geek. That's great. So you had the gaming inside your heart from a very young age.
Yeah.
This reminds me of a side. Do you remember, Side? There was that game where you would climb those buildings and with a gorilla and some sort of dragon Godzilla.
Yeah.
Rampage. Remember, Side? Rampage?
Yeah, Rampage, yeah. Rampage or Bomberman. Bomberman is a little bit similar. If I just may, Ray, I mean, what are the recipes to make a really good game? I mean, you've been doing this now for plus 40 years.
Well, it's been changing. So right now, game, when you talk about a AAA game, that's a big production. You have to manage like over 100 people, right? So I think game, there's a world. You have to create a world. But the game mechanism itself hasn't evolved too much, right? So you could use the same game design, or you could borrow a lot of traditional game design, and you create a new world. But I think the most important thing to make a great game, AAA games, is how you manage teams. If your team members all have to be passionate about what you're making, and they are all looking into the same direction. And that's a really, really hard thing to do. And a lot of game studios fail to do that and ending up releasing a not so great game, which the developers aren't also satisfied. But because of the all other constraints, they had to publish it, right? So I think this I don't know, maintaining the passion of this large team is, I think, a very difficult thing, but very important thing to make a great game.
Alexander, would love to get you in on this, buddy, as well. You've been smiling and nodding. It seems like you're in full agreement with everything Ray is saying. You also joined the gaming industry, and do you have similar views, or how do you feel your experience as creating successful games?
Hey, gents. Thanks again for having us here today. I agree with Ray, everything he says. My journey is a bit different from different angles. So Ray-san is a game developer from the first generation of Japanese game development and probably worldwide first generation of game development. I'm coming more from the game operation publishing side of the things. So quick glance at my background. I started as a software developer 15 years ago in a gaming industry, in the cybersecurity, actually, anti-cheating, etc. And then fast forward a few years, I was a CEO of the game publishing company, mostly operating in Eastern Europe, a bit of Latin America. We were publishing some iconic titles, MMO titles, mostly from Korea, Japan, China, a couple of titles from States and Europe. To mention some, we were official publishers of Lineage 2 in Europe, Ragnarok. Those are iconic Korean MMORPGs, still very popular. Blade and Soul. We also worked with the. We were the first country, region, and the company to work with the Halo Online. Actually, we're supposed to be a Halo Online, and we were working tightly with the team to publish it. We had some European titles like APB Reloaded, but this was a big thing before the GTA Online came. So yeah, I'm coming from the publishing background, and I do agree with everything Ray says about the team. It's all about the people. Like whatever you do, you are doing with your team. Good culture, good processes, deep data, especially in the operations. It's all based on analytics, right? We need to get a lot of data, make wise, smart decisions based on that, and kind of improve our service more and more. And when we came together 2 years ago at Creta, we kind of brought the two parts of the gaming business, the game creation and the game operations. So we're covering both sides between us and another 200 plus members of our team.
So most of the time, I worked on console games, which is, mostly offline, right? So, I'm totally relying on Alex for game operation, right?
Yeah, and I'm totally relying on the Ray and our part of the team who's coming from a deep background of the game creation. So we're trying to be very complementary here.
Amazing. And I'd love to ask, so Ray, what is really beautiful about the narrative of Creta is you guys are combining Japanese experience and producer experience, directing experience, but also working with a Korean studio. And you became friends with Sang Yoon, who's actually a co-founder as well. Was this your first game together, the 99 Nights? Was that the first collaboration?
Yes, very much. So that was 2004. Yes. I told you about the launching of Xbox 360, right? And this 99 Nights was one of the first projects that I did, along with Blue Dragon and Lost Odyssey. And this one, development studio was the Sang Yoon studio almost 20 years ago. That's how we get to know each other, and we've been very good friends since 2004. Yeah, this was a tough project. Yeah, because while this was a launch game of the Xbox, so 360, so we didn't even have a complete development system. So we had to guess the specification of the system and make it first, right? Yeah.
So I think that's something that resonates with you, right? Like you decided to partner up with Anthony, also someone that you knew for 20 years roughly. Does this all make sense to you, like the way Ray's sharing his story and the way you've experienced SwissBorg?
Yeah, exactly. That's a great, actually, link. Yeah, I mean, you always have to, whenever you're building something, it's a family, right? So you have to make sure that you trust the person 100%, you're complementary as well, and that you share align the mission. And we know that entrepreneurship is not about being happy; it's about building great things and leaving a legacy. And I'm very excited that yeah, you guys are doing that.
Thank you.
I'd love to ask both of you the same question, if you don't mind. I believe personally what you guys bring that's different from the other Web3 gaming projects is twofold. Number one is the team, this long relationship, how long you've known each other, how long you've trusted each other, how long you've worked side by side, but also the IP, the intellectual property, which, as you said, Ray, earlier, you touched upon it briefly, is extremely, extremely important because a lot of that IP can be recycled and used, as you said, for future development. Ray, if you had to talk about, but also the potential weakness, maybe what you feel is still lacking today so that we can be fully honest and truthful to the community, and what you think are the superpowers. If you had to think of Dragon Ball reuniting with, I don't know, the Ninja Turtles in the US, what do you guys think you have that is different from other potential Web3 gaming teams?
Well, obviously, we've been making traditional games on PC, console, and mobile. So I think, as I said, game operation side, I'm not as experienced as making games. So I'm relying on that to Alex. But I think both Alex and I are new to blockchain. So we were just making games till 2 years ago, right? So this blockchain, how do I say, culture or audience is a little bit different from traditional game users, right? So I think that's a weakness, but I think our mission is to bring regular gamers into Web3 space. So I think we're going to treat our platform as a game platform and try to bring, there are said to be 2 billion gamers in the world, right? So 2 billion gamers in the world, 200 billion market or something, right? So if we could bring fraction of that people and market into Web3 space, I think will be a big success. So I think we're gonna follow the rules that we used for Web2 industry mostly, but add some Web3 new experience using Web3. Alex, you could probably elaborate something better.
Yeah. Let me jump in to add on what Ray said. Yeah. So basically, the challenge is a lot of traditional gamers, let's call them Web2 gamers, they don't understand the Web3 world, and they are not too positive about the Web3 because the first generation of the Web3 solutions were, to be polite, were not that high quality, and there was a lot of chaos involved there, right? And what we want to do is, we are coming from a gaming background. We do understand that it's a huge niche, like whole gaming world, and we do believe in the Web3 as a solution, not kind of not a pill to cure all the diseases, but there are definitely some places where Web3 and blockchain can add a lot of value for the Web2 games. And that's what we want to do. We want to create a place where any kind of Web2 gamer can come and seamlessly play the games, does not need to create a wallet, understand all the peculiarities of the blockchain, because it's pretty complicated. That's not the mainstream yet, right? But coming from the gaming background, we do know that there are a few problems we had before, which we could not solve without the blockchain. And that's what we want to bring with the Creta. And to elaborate more on this, we want all the games on the Creta platform to be kind of free to play. Everybody can come, play the game, does not need to pay anything, freeze some funds, take anything, nothing, just a pure gameplay, entertainment, like we did before. And we want to add extra layers, like meta layer on the platform, on the games, on Creta, where you can monetize first your assets, because in the Web2 world, it's a big problem for us. For example, in several of our games we're publishing, there was a huge dark market because we cannot allow the asset sales, asset transfers, account sales, renting some items, hiring somebody to do some work for you, and this all in a shaded zone. It's a dark market, and we did not have enough instruments to allow this for the users. It was not because we were bad. We didn't want our users to make money, but it was we could not control this process without understanding the ownership. Payment solutions were a problem, etc., etc. So in Creta, we are creating the Omni marketplace where you can trade anything you want, and we're integrating in our SDK solutions where any game developer, third-party game developer, can come to our platform, integrate SDK, and then be able to whitelist items which users can buy and sell on the marketplace. And a second problem we always had was a lot of users like to participate in tournaments and make money on their skill. In a traditional world, it's pretty difficult. There are offline tournaments which are happening somewhere specific. There are online ones, but you should qualify. It's a big ladder. You need to climb up. But what if you want to have your quick tournament anytime you want? So this was a big problem for us as well, and it was a lost opportunity. That's why there's a lot of side tournament platforms. And we felt that we should integrate this functionality to the Creta ecosystem as well. So anybody who wants to monetize their skills, they can simply chip in, play the game, winner takes it all in a simplified way. Because online games are competitive environments. In any competition, there's a winner, there's losers, and there's a distribution between them. So it's pretty simple to monetize any kind of this activity. Imagine like Dota 2, right? That's the biggest tournament in the world, and the prize pool is piled up through the season pass payments, right? The companion payments, and just part of it goes as a prize pool. Why not to do it anytime you want, in any kind of season, if the game you want? Just provide this functionality to the game developers and the users, and then we will decide, do we want to use this, or we want to play free-to-play? Like in a free-to-play games. In free-to-play games, only like in average 10% of the users pay, 90% are just enjoying and having fun without paying anything. So we want to bring this to Creta to bridge the gap between like proper AAA, AA, high quality games, and the blockchain solutions, which are really helping to solve some old problems.
So we are promoting win to earn instead of play to earn. So it's more natural to games, win to earn is. Right. And not to forget, there is a possibility of a serverless online game that we are developing, right? So that's going to save huge costs to the developer, right? Maybe 30%, up to 30% of cost they can save if we could run the game on chain without using the server like Amazon, cloud server like Amazon, right? So that's going to help developers make better games.
That sounds super cool. One last note, so I don't know if you have a question, but regarding the team, I'd love to ask you, Rei-san, you managed to get Yoshiki Okamoto on board. We had Alexander dinner with Thomas Vu from League of Legends, and both of them played significant roles. We have a chief creative officer, we have a producer and director. What are these guys doing? Why did you bring them on board, first of all? I mean, it sounds pretty obvious to me, and what will they be doing? How are they going to be contributing to the Creta ecosystem?
Let me tell you, I was just off the meeting with Okamoto's team right before this, and I saw for the first time the promotional video that he created for his first game, and that's exciting. I mean, it's different from typical launch video, but it's really exciting. So you guys should look forward to it. So Mr. Okamoto is going to launch a game. Game project on Creta. So we are establishing this new fundraising program within Creta called Creta Nexus. And this Creta Nexus is like, kind of like a Kickstarter, but we are raising funds in Creta token. And also it's a game-specific fundraising program. And we are bringing in as Mr. Okamoto as a first project to launch this program. And we believe Okamoto-san's project will be a big success. First, in terms of raising funds, and a year later, his game itself will be a big success.
Amazing. And so his games will be connected to the Creta token. It will be
of course.
If you will allow to add on what Ray-san said. So Yoshiko Okamoto is like very, very famous game creator, having success in all the platforms, starting from arcade, ending with the mobile. And his first Web3 game will be exclusive for the Creta platform. And it will be sourced for the Creta members for the Creta token. And this is a win-to-earn game where there's a lot of competition. You can monetize your skill. Fantastic game. We know a bit about the game. We're not sharing yet, but please stay tuned to know more. And regarding Thomas Wu, Thomas is one of the creators and producers of the League of Legends, and he's a co-producer of the Arcane, which I love a lot, the series on Netflix. Thomas Wu has joined us, and we're going to create, again, we're not sharing much now, but we're going to create some games together, explore some other third-party game developers to bring them on the Creta platform. And one thing that I wanted to add is another advantage we have, just because our backgrounds, we know the gaming world pretty well. Like we know a lot of people in person, and we want to use like Ray-san brought Yoshiki Okamoto. We want to use our relation, our belief to promote the Web3 games in the circle of the traditional high-quality game makers, so they can come and make their games or like branches of their games or like their new games on a Creta platform to leverage the benefits of the blockchain technology while maintaining the high quality of the games.
Man, Ray, you just dropped some alpha, and I have goosebumps. They're telling me that you just talked to Okamoto-san and you saw the beginning of his game. I don't know how you feel, Sai, but this sounds quite exciting. I have a bit of a tingling on my skin.
It's definitely really, really cool. So in other words, so if the Creta world, it's a platform that you're able to build games on top of it, and the idea is to be able to bring the most amazing publishers that Ray yourself worked, or Alex yourself you worked with, and then let people play these games and have our own currency, which essentially is a Creta token that enables you to buy lands, enables you to maybe to buy more things going forward. And is that the big vision of Creta?
If you allow, I'll start, Ray. But with Creta, we have a big vision, and it's a big project to be built over the years and rolled out step by step. So what in the Creta ecosystem, we have several products. One we spoke about is the platform where we have our own games, we have third-party games, we have our friends' games to be published on the platform with the added value of the blockchain solutions. We also, because we joined our forces, bringing our previous companies on board. So we have several IPs we own, pretty well-known ones, Kingdom of the Fire to be mentioned. This was first created like 20 years ago. It was a big success on Xbox, and then had generations of the different games based on the IP. So we're building one of the games based on the Kingdom of the Fire IP. We also are building another game on the Fortress IP. This was a huge success in Korea. Unfortunately, it was not published outside of Korea, but it was a really big game in Korea. And this was one of the first games which brought on board females and, broader age range, because it was pretty fun to play. Some social issues, addressed some social issues, and kind of created a bridge between the generations, because parents were playing with the kids. What was a phenomenon in Korea. So we are building second game in-house based on this IP. And we have several other IPs we are thinking to explore further. And another thing we're building is multiverse, which is metaverse or multiverse nowadays has some negative perception, because there are several failed metaverses. But what we think is we are building, and very soon we are going to showcase it. We're building this multiverse with different verses. Specifically, for first verse will be sci-fi verse, where we'll already sold some land, and we're going to showcase it soon. And then Animeverse, built on a very popular IP, and then it will be the fantasy verse based again on some IP. So what we want to do is we create this place where our users from our platform can come, create something, generate some content, do some missions, explore the world, and step by step, year by year, make it more fun place to spend time to. Because the biggest problem with the metaverse is nowadays they are boring. There's nothing to do there yet, because it's a huge concept, and without tons of content there, tons of UGC content, it's not that fun. What we want to do is we create this setting of the verses, provide the tools to our users, so over the time they go there, and we guide them through the platform-based missions. Sometimes go do this in a verse, kill some 10 rabbits, or build some buildings, and you will gain some benefits in other games. So in this way, we want to teach them how to go time to time to the metaverse, build something, and then over the time, we hope that the metaverse will itself become a vibrant, entertaining place, so users are going to spend their time there.
And for those watching, UGC means user-generated content. So I guess stuff that you can build yourself, right, to enhance the experience and be more engaging. Right. Ray, when I think about Creta and Cyrus, this reminds me a lot of Illuvium or Gala, or a bit of a sandbox, because you guys are building multiple games plus a metaverse, all connected to a single token. And you have multiple verticals and games that are being built simultaneously, which to me sounds very, very exciting. But Ray, I'd love to get you to comment on what Alexander just said about metaverses being potentially boring and having to have some sort of portal where you can escape from reality and have some sort of, dopamine rush or some sort of, emotional injection. Is that how you see the multiverse or metaverse succeeding in the future?
Well, metaverse is a buzzword for the last few years, right? But actually, metaverse, we've been making MMORPGs. That's almost like a metaverse, right? So our metaverse is based off of our previous assets, like a previous framework of MMORPG and stuff. So to our metaverse, our sci-fi metaverse that we are first releasing will come with a shooting game, right? Or it's like a shooting game. Metaverse is coming with a shooting game. Either way, right? So there's a shooting game coming with the metaverse, so people can immediately enjoy the shooting game within the metaverse, like maybe esports, or you could probably buy the land and start a weapon shop by yourself, or skin shop, or even like a training service for beginners. You could do whatever you want to do around that game, right? And you could. I think our metaverse will be more like a game than the metaverse, right? But we have all those metaverse features, so you can buy lands, you can start your own businesses, or you can have different activities like maybe a live concert there. But we're going to start from the game to attract people into our platform, right? And just to add a little bit to Alex, so Creta is doing two things: platform development and game development, right? And for the platform development side, we have 4 pillars. Metaverse is one, marketplace, social media, and game creation tool. Those are 4 pillars of Creta, right? Then the content side, as Alex said, we are making a Kingdom of Fire, The Fortress, and Tokyo Wars. It's another game that we are developing, right? So there are a lot of activities going on.
Yeah,
Alex,
that's beautiful. Can you guys walk us through the multiverse? Because I guess that's one of the first, games that will be released in open beta next year. Do you guys mind navigating us and, telling us the story behind this while I'm playing the video?
Yeah.
Sure.
Alex, you want to do that?
Yeah, let me try it. So again, everybody wants to create a metaverse. Everybody feels that the time will come and metaverse will be a place. Everybody's seen the movie Ready Player One, etc., etc. So everybody tries to find how to create the metaverse to be fun. And Alex, you mentioned some other companies before, our competitors. We all explore, because this is a very, very new niche for all of us, and we all explore it from different angles. There's some similarities between us, there's some differences, there's some details, and the market is big enough to cater all of us, whoever finds the recipe, right? So coming back to our metaverse, what we're doing differently, as you can see, it looks way more AAA-like, like proper AAA MMORPG kind of style. We want to, and what we'll also do, we want to have different verses. It's not just one world. You can travel between the world. Each world will have its specifics, its aesthetics. Again, visuals will be on a higher end of the things. And what we also are doing, we are creating pre-built functions where you can. The problem with metaverse is you just go there. There's some places already built, and it's not much fun. What we want to do is we are providing the no-code mechanics for all the inhabitants of the metaverse. Whoever has land, as Ray-san said, like we are going to create the shop mechanics. And if you want to create a weapon shop on your land and monetize it and do the customized settings, etc., do it. If you want to create your own game, we're going to provide you game mechanics where you can change the settings, you can change the parameters, you can change the design, and then monetize your land or your belongings or inside the game which you own. And these are the things we are doing differently. So we want to create this concept called Cube, where every user can have their cube, which is a portal to their own place. And we provide them no-code solutions where we can create dynamics the way they like it. In the future, we can bring some assets from the games we play on a platform to their part of the metaverse, create their homes or islands, land, and then gamify it for the built-in solutions we're going to provide without understanding the coding.
Is that similar to Roblox to some extent, for those who know Roblox?
We do like Roblox a lot. I think Roblox did a huge job to create this first generation of the metaverse-like places. And there's a lot of things to learn from what Roblox does.
Yeah, same kind of community culture, I think.
Is that the long-term vision, Ray? And I'd love to hear maybe the last question before we end this session. Is that how you see a multiverse, Ray, where you have some character and you just jump through this imaginary portal and you end up as a tank or a car in Fortress, then you jump out and you connect to another portal and you're in the middle of this Tokyo war zone from sci-fi to fantasy? Is that how you'd like to see the evolution of Creta in 2, 3, 5, 10 years time?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know if you can become a tank, but obviously, sci-fi world to fantasy world to anime world, you'll turn into a character in that world, right? And you could learn new skills or something, new experience, new skills, and bring back to sci-fi world. Stuff like that will be possible, right? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I think we are trying to blur the line between gamers and creators, so everyone can be gamers and a creator, a gamer and a creator at the same time in our platform, right? So whatever they contribute to the community is going to be great. It will be valued from other community members.
So it's not just ownership then, right? It's actual engagement where the community becomes a part of the Creta world, truly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And if you allow to add on that, we think that it is not possible to create the metaverse only from the developer end. It's a collaboration between the community and developer providing tools, and also time, right? Because that metaverse is a huge thing. It takes some time to polish it step by step. Hopefully, starting with early adopters and like years later, adopting all the niches of the users.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fascinated. I'm very pumped about Creta and your vision. I knew some of it, but not as well. I know my brother was much more excited, but definitely now I'm excited. I think it would be very nice to talk about the token, its life, its purpose, the utilities behind it. If you could talk about anything that will excite people, the floor is yours.
Yeah, speaking about the token, what we want to do is we want Creta itself be interesting, entertaining experience for the gamers and Web3 enthusiasts, Web3 gaming enthusiasts, right? And we want token to be very organic for the platform, for the games, for the Creta itself. We don't want to force anybody to do anything with the token. The token itself will be the tool to get all the benefits of the Creta platform. We can go deep hours and hours in discussion of the tokenomics, but I want to make clear this part that the value of the Creta will be the content and the users creating activities on a platform, and the token will be used as an instrument to enable these transactions and further development of the ecosystem of the Creta.
Yeah, I mean, similar to me, it's like it's a so obvious thing in a Web2 gaming industry that people are paying for game experience. So if you can create an immersive game experience, people are willing to pay for that, right? So instead of investing money to a game, you are actually spending money for a game experience. So we're trying to provide immersive game experience so that users are willing to pay. That's going to run their basic Creta economy, right? But that's same as a Web2 typical games, right? But on top of that, if a community becomes more and more passionate about the community, and if we expand the community and people are passionate about our community, people are engaging to our community more, then the value of the token goes up for everybody's sake within the Creta community, right? So there are a new kind of a perspective compared to Web2. And so those kind of things we are trying to bring. So people should be willing to pay for our experience, right? So that's so obvious thing in Web2, but I think it's lacking in Web3.
And I love the sustainability factor side. So I remember when Sang-Yoon was telling me that, when you're building your own real estate, actually, when we think about the metaverse, a lot of what's happening in daily life, like just the way we use Swiss francs or euros or dollars, you can connect it to any type of utility. Let's say learn to earn. You can connect it to advertising, to marketing, to building buildings, to having a sign. So I think the opportunities are endless. And I really love the way you guys are keeping your own treasury fund to fund future gamers who want to build on Creta rather than releasing their own token. So I know that Sang-Yoon was very, very adamant on having sustainable ways to get back Creta tokens when people buy their real estate, get the NFTs, and hopefully position themselves kind of like Sandbox, right? Say next to Snoop Dogg's house or whatever, crossing that has. By the way, it would be great if we can have a SwissBorg logo somewhere in the multiverse, no?
We will.
No problem. Yeah. We'll create a SwissBorg Park.
The SwissBorg Park, I love that. That's for sure.
That's cool.
So in other words, essentially the token Creta will be able to purchase lands whenever you're launching a new game. People will be able to essentially acquire different artifacts within the game. But will they be as well a reward model as well for this token, where essentially people that are building these different games, they earn these Creta tokens? Is that correct?
Yep, we're going to run a majority of the transactions between the users, and also when you're building something, when you're selling something, everything will be tied on a Creta. And as we spoke before about the Creta Nexus program, when you can also use Creta tokens to fund a game development and then own some benefits from this game's future revenues, get some extra unique things. And whatever we are going to, again, in traditional Web2 world, there's it's very famous thing to do the founder pack sales, right? Before the game releases, you have limited number of the founder packs, special skins, etc., etc. And with all the updates, you are going to provide some limited number of unique stuff, and all these things also will be traded by the Creta token.
We still have a huge amount of marketing reserve still, right? Mm-hmm. So we could utilize that.
Yeah, and one thing that I really look up to, and this will relate to you as well, Sai, because when it comes to team lockups, you know, most companies will have a 2-year lockup for all the founders or advisors. But the fact that you guys have 8 years, really, that shows to me, it's a simple detail that shows profound principles, in my humble opinion. So I really, really like that. And it really shows how long-term vision you guys are.
I think it just goes in line with what we said before. We just know that building big ecosystems is not a quick thing. It takes time. So we need to commit for long term to be able to have this vibrant metaverse, multiverse product down the road.
And maybe last to bounce out, last comments. What do you guys want to address to the SwissBorg community about this alpha opportunity? What would be your dream about it? What's the best outcome out of this thing, I would say?
First of all, you're a great community, guys. We are following some things you're doing. It's amazing. We love what SwissBorg did, and being like, you know, pioneer in the field in the European region. That's fantastic. What we would like to have is SwissBorg is a big community, and we're sure that there are a lot of gamers in the community, and we do love to invite you all to come on board Creta, you know, play our games, provide us feedbacks, help us improve the products we are going to roll out, participate in the activities we are starting, because this is a very exciting new thing called Web3 gaming, whatever it is. And we're all exploring the best ways how to make this place fun, interesting, entertaining, retaining. And this is not possible without the help of the community. So please come join us. Let's create this place together.
Perfect. Thank you so much for this, Alex. Any last words for you, Ray?
Yeah, I'm just very, very excited because we've been so far working on, you know, Asian markets, Japan, Korea, Southeast Asia, but finally I think we have a big chance with you guys, SwissBorg, to expand our activities and what we want to convey to the community with you guys. So I believe, you know, this is a big step for Creta to become truly global community. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
And if I may add, Sai, when the multiverse open beta comes out, let's flood the gates like a Coldplay concert.
Exactly. That's a great one. We'll be the first one there.
The actual the demo, are we thinking about Q1? Is that correct? Q1 next year to get the community to play?
As we spoke before, we have several products, and we are going to showcase them starting from the Q1 next year. Some of them will be like closed tests for the limited users. Some others will be open tests. And again, we do believe that the only way to build a product which audience likes is to get the data and iterate as much as possible. So next year we're going to roll out several products and try to get as much feedback as we can to fine-tune the things.
So I'm sure SwissBorg communities will be one of the first communities to experience Creta, right?
Perfect.
For sure.
That's a great one. Thank you so much to both of you guys, and it's a wrap.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Take care.